Hello everybody, can you hear me? I hope so. If you're there or not, hopefully you can comment and we can interact a little bit. What we want to do is go over the housing market here in Utah. It's been pretty crazy over these last few weeks, and I want to just give you a housing market update. Excuse me here as I am trying to there we go. All right, so I'm just fixing my live update. All right, well, housing market update. As you know, let me go straight to the stats, and then we're going to talk about, you know, pretty much how the coronavirus has affected or hasn't affected the market and what areas it has. Again, I'm David Pastan. I'm the broker with Rise Utah Realty, and I do a lot of housing in the area, a lot of investments, and I want to talk to you today about the housing market because I think if you are looking to buy or to sell, this is the kind of information that you want to know. So I'm going to go through it. Hopefully you can see these, but this is a snapshot of today, and I'm going to summarize what I'm going to talk about in this slide. What you can see is there's about 1,800 less listings today at this exact same time than there were a year ago. And I think that's the biggest way in which the coronavirus has affected us. We just have a lot less people deciding not to sell. But the crazy thing is that buyers haven't decided not to buy. So we have less listings, but the same or more buyers. So what you see in this market, because there's a lot less listings, it says backup here. Backup means that you have an offer accepted and now you've accepted a backup offer or looking for a backup offer. And so instead of 863 backup offers that we had last year, we have 1,236 backup offers. Under contract, we actually have more under contract this year, almost 700 more. So 7,055 were under contract at this time last year, and now today 7,725. And again, that's in a stark contrast compared to what, 1,800 less listings and to have more contracts. And this is what you'll see too. We have more withdrawals. I've seen people withdraw simply because they didn't want people walking into their house and potentially getting them infected with the coronavirus. So a lot of that's the fear driven, but it's what's reduced our number of listings, and but the eager buyers out there have less to choose from. So again, they're going under contract on what's available, and we'll see that here. So again, off markets. These are more homes are going off market now. Roughly about 113 homes more. So those are the things that we're seeing, is that the same number of homes are selling, or actually more homes are selling with less inventory. Inventory is the number of listings you have available to buy. So that's pushing prices. And so if we look at this next price, I just threw in a couple years here. This is from 2017 going up, or 2015, excuse me. But what you see last year in 2019, the first quarter of last year, home prices, our average price was worth $305,000, and now today they're worth $333,000. That's an increase of $25,000 or 8.1%. That's a great appreciation. Have 8.1% a year, and that's consistent with what we've been doing year after year for the last 9 years. I can't believe it's been 9 years of that kind of appreciation. Thus, if you look back in 2015, the average home price was greater than $100,000 less. It was $217,000. So we are paying a lot more for houses in Utah, and that's probably going to continue. So where are we with the coronavirus? Because that's really going to affect our future. So I got this from the CDC Utah, and we have 8,521 cases, and that seems to be going up consistently around somewhere between 120 to 200 cases a day, but not more than that. So it's not like going out of control. In fact, these numbers confirm that the number of cases per day is pretty much leveled off, if not declining. I guess declining because they took us from a red level down to an orange, and now we're in yellow. So yellow is good. One more step, and then we're pretty much free, and we're not being affected by the coronavirus. But all these tests indicate that the virus isn't really deadly, at least not here in Utah. Uh, this is people tested versus infected, and there's a very, very low infection rate here. In fact, it's lower today than it was in times past, and that's good news for us. One of the best things here about Utah is that you can get tested. I Oh, so our son my son woke up sick, and we're like, oh no, maybe he's got the coronavirus. And we can go to testutah.com and go get tested. So I took him down, and we literally registered on this site, and that says you can come today. It gave you a time slot, and you just have a code like you can scan on your phone. And we drove in, scanned it, they nose swabbed him, and done. And after I went through, I'm like, well, gosh, I'm with somebody who could be infected. I want to know if I'm infected, or if maybe I will be sick tomorrow. So I just quickly filled out the Test Utah app, our webpage, and signed it myself. Then immediately turned around, drove back in, and got tested myself. And the next day, we found out we were both negative. We're not sick with the coronavirus. So I guess we're just allergies or something else. But that's the great thing about Utah, is we can get tested. So with all the tests here, the green is recovered. So we have total people sick, but we have more people recovered now than are sick. So we're getting that herd immunity going. I think the stock market's reflecting this. If you see this, they're actually showing some recovery here, that almost most of what was lost back in February into March is now recovered. So that's good news. So a temperamental stock. And I want to add right now that real estate didn't bounce at all. So another plug for real estate. But for those of you who do have stock, that is really good news. 401ks, things are recovering. And it's going off the positive information we're hearing about the lower death tolls of coronavirus, states opening back up, and people going back to work. This was huge. This is announced today. Everybody's wondering what we're going to do for fall, if we're going to have classes. And the University of Utah says we will have live classes. And we don't know exactly how they'll do it, if they'll require masks or anything else, but they're planning on having classes. And other universities here haven't announced it. We're hoping that will lead the way for them to say, yes, they'll have classes. That's particularly UVU and BYU, but most likely we'll think they will. And that leads into other things like, soccer season, football season, and other sports that would need to have enrollment in order to participate. We hope those continue as well. Man, it was Memorial Day weekend, and everybody was out. Everybody was out having fun. I want to say that we're doing well with the virus, but I only see maybe 1 out of 5 people, 1 out of 10 sometimes, wearing a mask. And I hope that we're still conscious that the virus is still out there, and conscious not to get it, to keep our distance. But it was a good sign. Malls opened up. People were out shopping. People could even dine in at some restaurants that had the appropriate tables, I guess, spread out. So all this is good. Why am I saying all this? Because it all relates to real estate. And Forbes came out with this report here that showed the top U.S. cities best positioned to recover from the coronavirus and the worst. I want to focus on the best, because I don't know if you can see this, but Provo right here and Salt Lake are in the top 10. Now this top 10 wasn't in any particular order. It shows Boise, Idaho as the top. It's not in any order. It's just alphabetical, they said. But basically, Utah, Salt Lake counties are in a great position to recover, and we're in a great position because we have a very diversified economy. We're not as affected by the coronavirus, and we were doing really well before, and we'll probably jump out of it fairly quickly here. And one good thing about the coronavirus is no one was out driving on the road. So if you wanted to get somewhere, it was real easy. There was no traffic. Now you can tell there's more people on the road. I wouldn't say the traffic is getting there, but it's not as bad as it will be. But that's a good thing in the end because it means that we're recovering. Okay, so I got these off of major financial institutions, and this is basically what they're saying is that, we're gonna have this is national numbers, not Utah, but national, that we'll have a pretty poor second quarter. I guess that goes through June, and then we'll start to see recovery in the third and fourth quarters. So I guess if the financial institutions is what they think the coronavirus and how it will affect, they just see with all the opening of the economy, things will start to get better, and that's great. Now, unemployment. Man, there was a lot of people filing for unemployment in the last few weeks. I've talked to some of those people, and I know a big reason is there was huge bonuses, benefits of getting unemployment. The government was paying more. So a lot of people applied that may not have. So here they got their benefits. But what's good about this graph is that each week you see here less people apply for unemployment. I hope that means that they are getting jobs, but it also means that there's no more continued layoffs, if I understand that correctly. Now, with that said, who's being affected the most by unemployment? And man, this big one, 37.6% of the people are servers and bartenders. And then it's retail and temporary services. Whoops. Doctor offices, they were mandated to be closed, but here in Utah, doctors' offices are open again. Dentists are open again. I got a teeth cleaning here, and they followed all the strict guidelines of, testing, whether you had a fever, making you wear a mask, them wearing a mask. It felt safe. Now, manufacturing, childcare, I think childcare could be really hit right now. Schools again closed throughout the end of the year. Last week was great because there was a lot of graduations by drive-through. I know locally at our Timpview High School, that's how it was. Everything else, it's less affected. So what we're anticipating is that as soon as people start going again, this restaurant number is going to go down. And so when we look at unemployment here, what this shows is that unemployment versus employed, is that 90% of the unemployment is what we call temporary. Temporary means is that, exactly that, is that as soon as the coronavirus goes away, those jobs will likely come back. However, it's that 10% that remain unemployed. I know locally there's a few businesses that have gone under. At our local university mall here in Orem, JCPenney's declared bankruptcy, so those people would permanently lose their jobs unless someone buys JCPenney's, but probably not. J. Crew, there's been a few notable brands that have gone under because of the coronavirus. And depending on the state nationally how those do, that's what we're concerned about, is how those will affect. But locally here in Utah, we have a diverse enough economy that, again, that temporary unemployment going to permanent unemployment shouldn't be too bad. And because and I'm relating this to housing, because I don't want to say that someone losing their job is not that bad, because it is for individuals personally. I've been through that, and it's no fun. But it's in these times that we can innovate, we can find solutions, we can help each other. And in Utah, you're going to see a lot of repositioning and companies becoming stronger because of it. So, the way, again, this graph is just listings were going really, really strong in the beginning of the year, and then they dropped because of the coronavirus. In the last month, they've been shooting way up. People aren't really worried anymore. So those are my main slides for today. Again, housing market's up. I should also say that our inventory is very low right now. I guess I've said it in many other ways, but that's the number of houses available for buyers to do. What we hope to see in this next month is we were going into spring anticipating a huge spring, and then we got delayed these last 3 months. What we're probably going to see is summer be huge because of it, and going into the fall. So we'll have a much more active fall because of this pent up demand that just stopped it. It's like a dam stopping a river. It doesn't slow down the water flow. I mean, it may seem like it downhill, but it's really just penting up the demand, and at some point that demand is going to let loose, and it's going to shoot up the housing. So make comments below and let me know what you think, how you're affected, and if you have any questions, please just reach out to me and comment. If you've liked what we've talked about, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much, and you guys have a great day.